Well, the purpose of this video is to just go over a couple of examples on how to solve for a particular variable given an equation. So question number one, let me just get this out of the way. M equals x minus 2 over y minus 3. We need to isolate the y, solve for y. As always, we have a rational, a fraction, so our best friend would be the LCD. So the idea is to first get rid of the fractions and then parentheses, if any, etc. So let's see, how do I get rid of fractions? My least common denominator, which is, of course, y minus 3. This is m over 1. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit lazy practical. So I multiply the right-hand side by y minus 3. Same thing on the left-hand side. Now, of course, this eliminates. So what do I have? X minus 2 equals m times y minus 3. We need to break the parentheses and isolate accordingly. Just move it here, so that will be m times y minus 3m equals x minus 2. Of course, we need to add 3m, so we can isolate the y, and then we divide by m. So I have my equals 3m plus x minus 2. The only thing we need to do is to divide by m. So we just isolate the y. So therefore, y equals 3m plus x minus 2 over m, and we are done. Okay, example number 2. 2/3 plus 1/5 equals 1 over x. We need to isolate the x. My least common denominator is going to be 3 times 5 times m times x. That would be 15x. So I'm going to multiply each term, the left-hand side by 15x, and on the right-hand side as well. So what I'm going to place here 15x times 15x times 15x, and this is over 1, of course. Okay. Remember, we got the 15 because of 3 times 5. So even if you do 3 times 5, now you can cancel the 3 over 3, and the 5 prevails. Of course, you just simply say 15x, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that will be 5 here, 5x, of course. So 5x times 2, that will be 10x. 15 divided by 5, that will be 3 times x, that will be 3x. Times 1 is 3x. I just need to check on if it was a plus or minus. It was, oops, what am I doing? It was a plus here. Okay, so plus 3x equals x over x is 1, so b equals 250. And we are done. 10x plus 3x, 13x equals 15, divided by 13. Therefore, x equals 15 over 13, and we are done. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, let's try this other one. 1 over a plus 1 over b equals c. And we need to isolate the a, solve for a. Remember, folks, c over 1. So my LCD will be a times b, ab. So now we proceed to multiply ab times ab each term over 1, of course. So let's see what type of damage did we make. A over a, that is 1. 1 times b, that will be b plus. Here, of course, we simplify b over b. 1 times a equals my abc. A times b times c. And we're doing a, so we just subtract the b. So therefore, a equals abc minus b. And we are done. That wasn't that bad. Let's try this other one. Let's see if I can do it in real time. 1 over y plus 2/3 equals 1/5. Oh, very similar to the one I just scrubbed. So this LCD, least common denominator 3 times 5, 15 times y, that's 15y. Sorry, folks, I erased the other one. It was exactly the same as the one we just did. So let's try this one. We need to solve for y. We have 2 over x plus 1/3 equals 1 over x, 1 over y. So my least common denominator, I must have the x, must have the 3, must have the y. So we multiply by 3xy each term over 1. So 3xy over 1, 3xy over 1, 3xy. So notice, of course, here the x over x, bye-bye. So we have 3 times 2, 6y, plus the 3 simplifies, so that will be x, y equals y over y is 1, so that will be equal just to 3x. Okay, not bad. So we are going to solve for y. Notice that I have two terms that contain the y. So I have 6 times y, x times y. If we were to factor out the y, it would be y parentheses 6 plus x. So I'm going to put the y at the back here. That will be 6 plus x. You can always verify 6 times y is 6y, x times y is xy equals 3x. And now we just simply have to divide by 6 plus x, and we are done. Therefore, y equals 3x, 6 plus x. Fini, we are done. Let's try one more. This one looks different than the ones we've done before. You'll see many of these examples in 1040 when you do, say, chapter 5, rational equations and functions. Well, let's see what happens here. When I have fraction equals fraction, a over b equals c over d, as long as I have a simple fraction on the left and one on the right, namely if I have a over b equals c over d, we can always cross multiply. A times d equals bc. Okay. Or I'm going to take a different route, which is the same. So multiply by the least common denominator. I must have x, 3x minus 2 as a whole term, and the 2x. So let's see, how can I do this? So I multiply this guy by 3x times, no, sorry, 2x. 2x times 3x minus 2 on the left. And here I multiply 2x times 3x minus 2. Okay, so what type of damage did we make? 3x minus 2 over 3x minus 2 is 1. So 2x times 5, that would be 10x equals. Here, of course, 2x over 2x is 1. So now we have 3 times 3x, 9x, 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Much cleaner, right? Yeah, multiplied by 5. Okay, notice if I were to multiply, cross multiply 5 times 2x, 10x, 3x times x, that would be 9x, and 3 times negative 2, negative 6. We can just simply subtract 9x, 10 minus 9, that would be 1x equals negative 6, and we are done. That was simple. Okay, so let's see if I can do one here in real time. What if I have x equals y over 1 minus y? And we need to, of course, isolate the y. Oops, what did we say? So this is over 1. So we multiply by 1 minus y, both sides of the equation. That's my LCD. 1 minus y, 1 minus y. So here, this over this equals 1. So on the left hand and the right hand side, you simply have the y. And here I have x times 1, that would be x. X times negative y minus xy. Okay. I'm isolating the y, so I must have all the terms that contain y one side of the equation. So perhaps it's just easier to add the xy. So I have x equals plus plus, so this becomes positive xy plus y. Remember, there is an invisible 1 here. The coefficient is 1. So now we need to isolate the y. So we factor out. Notice if I pull out the y, if I factor the y, it'll be y times x plus 1. There's an invisible 1 there. So x equals y parenthesis x plus 1. We just simply divide by x plus 1, another space here. So I'm going to write it here on the side. So of course, what we have that y, because this over this eliminates, it will be y equals x over x plus 1, and we are done. Thank you. The last one, folks. Again, this is what we call a proportion. A over b equals c over d. Fraction equals fraction. We need to isolate the x. This I'm going to cross multiply, because that's what you're going to be doing 1040. So what do I have? 2 times x. We have 2 times x plus 1 equals 3 times y minus 2. Cross multiply. Break the parentheses and isolate the x. 2x plus 2, if I distribute the 2, equals 3y minus 6. Yeah, it's with the 2, it's with the 6. We're doing what? X, right? So this 2 is in my way. Let's subtract 2 minus 2 minus 2. So I have 2x, so divide, equals 3y negative 6 minus 2, negative 8. And we proceed to divide by 2. And that's it. We just write the answer here. So x equals 3y minus 8 over 2. That's it. Okay, this is a good answer. Maybe you can also divide and conquer. So for example, this is the same thing. Let me just write it down here. This will be x equals 3 over 2, 3 half y, minus 8 over 4, 8 over 2, which is just 4. Minus 4, and we're done. So 3 half y minus 4. Normally, this is a more accepted answer. Okay, thank you, folks.